We got to air it out. Let's air it out. So we got to air it out. Let's air it out. So
how you say that? Air it out. Air it out.
Air it out. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Air It Out podcast. My name is Avery Collins. You already know who it is, and I'm joined by Juan and Coach Braxton. It's going to be a good show. Mr. Darius Riddick is not with us today. He's got some stuff that he's got to take care of, so we understand. So we're giving a shout out to him in the meantime. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got a good round of football related topics ready for you guys, but I want both of my cohorts, my co-hosts, to say what's up to you people. Juan, go ahead and talk to them for a sec.
This was a rough week in picks, not just for me, but for all of us, man. Honestly, let me ask, who here has a winning record in their picks this week? You do?
Oh, this week?
Yeah, this week. No, just for this week.
I think everybody except for you, Juan. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm pretty sure I got a winning record, but it ain't that great.
Nobody's record was phenomenal.
Yeah. No, we'll address that when we get to the picks, but oh man, I got slapped in the face so hard this week.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Oh man, and I let's just say I had
second worst week overall this season after Darius. Darius went 5 and I think like 5-10 one week. It was,
you know what? The Patriots fan took it. I'll take it.
Let's be honest. We all started off wrong when we all picked the Cardinals and Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers. Just
why do we doubt this man?
We shouldn't doubt him any longer, ladies and gentlemen. Say what's up to Coach Braxton in the building.
Man, listen here. It's been a rough week. My Ravens are back. I get to see them play. Last week was a little bit of niceness, not having to worry about a win or loss or anything.
I didn't hate Jerome. I didn't hate.
But as the intro always tells y'all, it's time to air it out. It's time to air it out.
Time to air it out. Time to air it out, baby. Listen, we're gonna start this show by talking a little bit of trash. Number one, Darren, you said you were gonna beat me in fantasy. What happened?
So bad week of fantasy. I had to start Sam Darnold as my quarterback instead of Lamar Jackson. So not a good week for me. It's okay. It is okay. Started off well, but the disappointment all around from people.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what made you,
what made me feel that way? Oh, well, the last 6 straight wins I had, made me feel on high, like all the way up here. And I'm like, you know what? It's cool. We're going to keep it rolling. Then no Lamar, no Devontae, no Najee. It was,
Hey, listen, man. I was
week.
Checking to make
rough week with the buys, man. Rough week with the buys for me.
Just checking to make sure. I wanted to know, Fantasy Guy, can you get your number 1 overall pick back, please? I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that Christian McCaffrey, ladies and gentlemen. It's
I drafted top 3 running backs in all 3 of my leagues. All 3 top 3 running backs have been injured or inefficient in some way, shape, or form. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Derrick Henry.
Ouch. Sorry to hear that. But this is not the Fantasy Aces football podcast that you can check out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Inside the hashes. Listen, we do it all. Fantasy football, college football. If you don't know, the RPO podcast is coming on right after this. Listen, I'm telling you got some good football going on today. You got Air It Out, and then you got RPO in the same day, and then Thursday Night Football. I mean, does it get better than that? I don't think so. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and flip the script here just a little bit, and I just want to give a huge RIP shout out to Tina Tinter, who is identified as the woman who is the victim in the car crash involving Henry Ruggs III. So we want to give a huge shout out to her and her family. We are definitely praying for you. You guys are in our prayers and our thoughts. We can only imagine the pain that you guys are dealing with, as well as the Ruggs family, we know that this is difficult on both sides. I believe Derek Carr came out and made a statement in support of Henry Ruggs, not his actions, but the man. And I think we all need to kind of take a step back and reflect and remember that we are all still human. So shout out to both of them. You guys are all in our prayers. And with that being said, I just want to, before we get into our first topic, I want to talk to you guys, even kind of surrounding the subject. So obviously, Henry Ruggs will not be with the team anymore. And I mean, I just want to touch on it briefly. There are a couple of guys who are going to be missing this week. Aaron Rodgers due to COVID. Saquon Barkley's still out. Christian McCaffrey's still out. A lot of other players now going to miss time because of COVID or injuries or different things like that. What are your thoughts on, Aaron Rodgers and this whole situation? I'll start with you, Darren.
So it's kind of like
let's make it brief so we can get into our topic.
Oh yeah, we'll make it real brief. It's kind of like last week, honestly. No Devontae Adams, no Allen Lazard, no MVS. So it's just like when you lose a lot of big time guys on your team that contributes a lot, it's hurting you. And when you especially lose Aaron Rodgers, that's a hurt piece. But on the flip side, can't wait to see Jordan Love make his first start, people. Let's see what he got. Let's see why he was the first round pick.
I mean, think about it. Then you got AJ Green out because of COVID and different things like that. Russell Wilson's still out. And then you hear news about Saquon Barkley, who wanted to come back, but now he's out because of COVID. And then Calvin Ridley leaving the team to attend to his mental health. Juan, talk to me. What's going on in week 9? Week 9 has been just chaotic.
It's a brutal week in terms of injuries and personal reasons to leave across the NFL. And look, let's not disparage players for taking time to work on their personal health, because we've seen just how badly mental health can deteriorate within this game in and of itself.
Yeah.
All right, we've seen the consequences of those actions. So first off, credit Calvin Ridley for acknowledging that he has an issue that he has to deal with and taking the time away from the team and away from the game to do so. So major props for that. In terms of injuries in and of themselves, I have the list is just growing. The list is y'all. Mr. Avery Collins here is the one that got Jordan Love.
I did not. I didn't do Jordan.
Who did Jordan?
I cannot. Hey, Mom, what's up? How you doing? I cannot remember who did Jordan's interview, but you can always go check it out at www.insidethehashes.com and go ahead and click under the interview tab and check out who did the interview and give them some shout outs and some props.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you plug a product. Anyway, just looking at the list, are we talking injuries right now, like going in depth, or just lightly touching?
Just lightly touching. I just want to, again, week 9, you got COVID, you've got injuries, you've got people.
No, it's not just injuries that you have. You have how many season-ending injuries coming into this right now? I count 3 so far amongst players.
Derrick Henry, Jameis Winston,
Danielle Hunter, torn pec. All right, Dak Prescott,
JJ Watt.
JJ Watt too. Like it's
4 different injuries for JJ.
Like it's week 2 of 2020 all over again, except not everyone's tearing an ACL.
Exactly. I just don't know what's going on, and I'm concerned. Week 9 has gotten me very, very concerned with the season moving forward. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk some football. All right. So it's time to get into our first topic of tonight. Danielle Hunter is your guy. Yes,
Danielle Hunter was another guy who was dealing with mental health issues before last season, and that's why he took a break from the game. Now he finally came back, tore pectoral. That's gotta be brutal, man.
So with that being said, listen, I mean, there's a guy who he wanted to come back this week and play for his team, and then he got found out that he was getting traded. Von Miller, ladies and gentlemen, has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams. If you have not heard, the 10-year career with the Broncos has ended. He is now transitioning over to LA with the Rams, along with Aaron Donald on the defensive line, along with Leonard Floyd on the defensive line, along with Jalen Ramsey on the back end of that defense. I really don't know. I just don't know how they lose at this point. I mean, Cooper Kupp is destroying any defensive back he goes against. Matthew Stafford is spreading the ball all around the field. Henderson looks like, hey, listen, maybe I should have been the starter this year. I mean, it's been phenomenal football to watch in LA right now. Long story short, again, ladies and gentlemen, Von Miller is over in LA. That means, for those who don't know, Von Miller, since he's come into the league, has the most sacks of anybody over that span of time. Aaron Donald, since he's come into the league, has the most sacks of anybody over the span of that time. That is wild. Juan, what do you make of this?
First off, shout out to Sebastian Joseph Day, Rutgers alum. Had class with him over in Rutgers a few years back. He plays nose tackle for the Los Angeles Rams, and he's been proven to be one of the better run stoppers in the NFL this year. So just give
very underrated.
Second, this is by far like typical Rams trade. All right, the Rams have built this team not through the draft, but through the draft picks thrown at premier players in the NFL. All right, they've used their last 3 first-round picks on premier talents, guys like Jalen Ramsey, Brandon Cooks, who's no longer with the team, but he was still a proven talent when he got there. The fact that and even bringing in Matthew Stafford was like a steal beyond insanity when they were able to load off Jared Goff and that god-awful contract that result. Now you bring in Von Miller. You still have to pay his salary, but you only have to give up a second and third round pick to bring him in, one of the premier pass rushers in this league. That's a bargain bin deal for the Rams to bring it in. But now it also signals the fact for Les Snead, the GM for the Rams, this year is a now or never season. All right. You may have a lot of these guys still under contract for the next 2 or 3 years, but Father Time is undefeated, my friends. And a lot of these guys are either nearing their 30s or already there. And the fact of the matter is, if you can't even make the Super Bowl, at least this year, it would have all been for naught. You have nothing to build the future with over the next 2 years. And there could be a potential down the line where, it's gone to the point where we all realize there may not be such thing as a salary cap for the Los Angeles Rams or for anyone in the league for this matter, but the money will come reckoning. And if they don't get any form of success out of this trade soon, I'm gonna get a little less with the Rams going forward.
I would like to just point out to your point with the salary cap and everything like that is projected to go up. And the good thing is Jalen Ramsey is already under contract. Matthew Stafford is actually already under contract. And this year, Von Miller is already getting paid, not by the Rams, but by the Broncos. So they don't have to worry
if it's actually on that contract, he will be a free agent.
Exactly. So he essentially would be the guy that you target. Aaron Donald, you already know he's already gotten paid. And maybe Leonard Floyd, I believe he's in the last year of his contract or the second to last year of his contract. So those 2 guys on the edge are really the guys that might be the focal points there. So it'll be interesting to see. Cooper Kupp is obviously making a case that he needs a new contract. So, Darren, talk to me. I mean, what do you make of Von Miller now teaming up with Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald?
So, real quick, best Madden defense, hands down. Let's first off start off with that one. When you got those guys,
if you pick the Rams, you're not allowed to. Like that's a cheat code.
Picking the Rams this year is like picking the Lakers last year or the Warriors when they had KD. Let's be honest right now. It is what it is, right? That's first off. Second, and in the NFL, in real life,
that's a fact, people.
People, this really might be still the best defense in the NFL, hands down. When you have 2 premier edge rushers, one in a guy that's been showing up tremendously, having Aaron Donald in the middle, and then a guy that's been a wrecking ball for years, as Avery has pointed out, for the last 10 plus years now.
A Super Bowl MVP.
You got those 2 guys on that edge, and then you have Aaron Donald anywhere up on that line. Oh, that's ridiculous. And then to have Jalen Ramsey, the abundance of safeties and corners that they have who make that defense help work for real. Oh my God, it's tremendous.
I just have one question. Does Von Miller bring the chicken farm with him to LA, or does he keep it in Denver?
Nope, he brings it and he starts a new one. He starts his new one. Let's be honest, he starts a new one. But
This is my little chicken Aaron. This is Leonard.
I don't think he ever wanted to leave Denver. I don't think he wanted to leave Denver, so I think he keeps it there and goes there.
I'll end it with this. As Von Miller said, people, he went to sleep 4-4. He woke up 7-1. The man knows he's in a great situation. And with the Rams, think about it. You can't draft a bust if you don't pick in the first 3 rounds.
This is facts. This is true, ladies and gentlemen. You can't draft a bust if you don't draft in the first 3 rounds. Now,
it's like that meme that goes like this.
For me, I'm really not. Here's my only thing about this trade. I feel sorry if they don't win. Like that's the only thing I can think about when it comes to this trade. If you don't win, I'm like Juan. It was all for nothing. Like that. To me, to mortgage essentially your future in this moment, I understand it completely because there's a small window here, right? There's a small window and you want to get the best value. But if you don't win, man, what if it doesn't work? What if they don't gel? I just hope they all stay healthy so we can see this dominant defense go to work. And with that being said, we're talking about the biggest trade that happened over the last 48 to 72 hours. Now it's time to talk about the trade deadline in general. It has come and it has gone, ladies and gentlemen. We are past the trade deadline. That means all of the trades that you thought and or wanted to happen are done. So our next topic today, we're going to talk about that. And I want to ask you guys some things, and I'll start with you, Darren. When it comes to the trade deadline, outside of Von Miller, is there any trade that kind of stuck out to you that you're like, oh, my, that was phenomenal, right? No, I mean, or is there any trade that you wish would have happened? Talk to me.
So, we already talked about it a little bit last week, but I still think Mark Ingram going back to the Saints is a great pickup, and it's even more resoundingly a great pickup now that James Winston is out. And which, with that incredible Saints O-line, they're going to have to focus more on the run, and then to have a two-headed beast of Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, who still has some juice left, people. He still has juice. I love it. I love the way they was trying to build, making sure that they have playoff potential. Not regular, but playoff potential. When you know they're going to have to run the ball, play great defense, which they've been doing all season long, and having just enough of a passing game to get there. And you've seen it when they play the Bucs, who, spoiler alert, lost to the Saints.
Are we really saying that Sean Payton can win with Trevor Siemian at quarterback?
Oh, no.
I don't think it'll be Trevor Siemian.
Well, we're not saying that.
I don't think it'll be Trevor Siemian. I think it'll be Taysom Hill.
But
I don't think
we're just saying that Mark Ingram going back was a great trade. And another trade that I wish would have happened, Deshaun Watson. Listen, Deshaun Watson has been looming over people's heads all season long. Now the question is going to be, where is he going to end up in the offseason? It's all people's going to keep talking about and thinking about. Even though it's going and by, where is Deshaun Watson going to go? Where is a guy like OBJ going to go?
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see. Juan, talk to me.
I'm gonna have to first disagree. I'm happy that they didn't not move Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson does not deserve to be moved right now. In the sense of like, even if you were to move him, is he gonna play? Would the NFL put him on the commissioner's exempt list? There was no point in moving him in the first place. Not to mention, the Texans raised the price when they thought that that all of his I think it was 22. Sexual misconduct allegations were going to be settled in court, but they weren't, so nothing happened, All right. Not to mention, the Texans are one of the most dysfunctional organizations I have ever seen in my 11 years as an NFL fan and analyst. It is beyond insane how this team is being mismanaged. So that's number one. Number two, I'm gonna have to be a bit of a homer. And I have to say, the trade that the Jets pulled off with the Chiefs, I think it's very underrated. In exchange for sending a fourth-string tight end, who was essentially a special teams player, they got back a former starting right guard and doctor in Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who has proven to be one of the better guards in the NFL when he's starting. He just lost his starting job this year for I can't remember who replaced him within that lineup, but he's still a serviceable guard. And he has started 57 out of 60 games from 2014 to 2019. He opted out of the 2020 season just to help out in Canada on the front lines of the COVID pandemic. Not to mention, Greg Van Roten on the right side is a god-awful guard. He rates as one of the worst offensive guards in the NFL this year. And honestly, I think Duvernay-Tardif can do a better job on that side, possibly even expand the running game going forward with this team.
It'll definitely be interesting to see. I'll leave it at this as far as the trade deadline for me. Obviously, Von Miller, that was phenomenal. But for me, if I'm the Rams, I send all the rest of those picks, all of them. So I have no picks next year. I send all the rest of the picks, maybe some cash consideration, and Van Jefferson to the Cleveland Browns, and I go after Odell Beckham. You do that, and you are guaranteed yourself a Super Bowl. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't know if the Browns would do it, but at this point, he does not want to be there. Derrick Henry had over 200.
He was excused from practice today. And Kevin Stefanski literally told
2 days in a row he was excused from practice.
And Stefanski literally told the team, Odell is not on the right team
not on the team anymore. Listen, I'm telling you, send all the rest of the draft picks, maybe some cash consideration. Like I said, somebody like Van Jefferson, maybe you might not even have to include Van Jefferson. But if you need to replace the receiver, Van Jefferson at the max, Robert Woods. But I wouldn't, but again, I would try to
develop him as a slot receiver. Robert Woods.
I would try to get away with Van Jefferson first. Because Robert Woods is better than Van Jefferson. So that's the reason you put Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Higbee on that. Oh my goodness gracious! And then that defense, yes, that was that's really 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 bad with Derrick Henry, dang Von Lloyd, AD. By 10 January. Listen, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see. I actually do hope the Packers and the Rams play, because I'm tired of people saying that Devontae Adams won that matchup. He did not. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think for me, this has been the most fun trade deadline in like the last 5 years. This is just for me. Yeah, just for me. Only because, again, Von Miller is such an impact trade. I mean, outside of Khalil Mack, I can't remember a trade that was just like, whoa. You're talking about like high impact, maybe the most impactful player on that side of the ball. So for me, I'm just like, whoa. And I'm also a huge Von Miller stan. So maybe that's the reason why one.
We forgot Melvin Ingram to Casey. I think we didn't mention that.
It's good, but it's not going to cut dividends.
I will say, I think
not Von Miller
later in the sense that Melvin Ingram wasn't getting used enough in Pittsburgh, and he was actually outperforming TJ Watt in terms of being a pass rusher. He got more pressures on that defensive line than TJ Watt was giving this season. He just like Mike Tomlin just not use him in the lineup. Yeah,
this is true. This is very, very, very true. Listen, all right, we're going to go ahead and get into our last topic here today. And I don't know if you can kind of tell, but you can probably kind of tell, who my answer is going to be with this next topic. But I want to get to ask you guys, who do you think? And we're going to do this. Obviously, it's only week 9, so things can happen, right? Things can shake up right now. The Titans are at the top. TJ don't get a lot of breaks and gets more attention. Just saying. True, but at the same time, some have speculated that Bud Dupree was the reason that he got that attention, or he didn't get that attention because Bud Dupree was creating more pressure. JJ Watt was beneficiary of the pressure that.
And yet, who got the contract?
But again, hey, listen, it's all about the sacks, right? So with that being said, listen, we're gonna move to our last topic. I want to know you're way too early because it's only week 9. The Titans are at the top of the division right now. Now they don't have Derrick Henry. They just brought in Adrian Peterson, but they could fall out and not be in the playoffs. But I want to know who's your way too early Super Bowl picks. You don't have to give a winner. I just want to know who you guys are going to put there in the big game. Who are the 2 teams? I need AFC. I need NFC. Darren, talk to me.
All right, so I'm going to get this one out the way now because this is my homer pick, and we already know. Ravens versus Cardinals. Bird.
Oh, my God.
You're ridiculous.
But like I said, that's the homer pick.
Oh, my God.
Pick. Now, if we're just talking overall what I've seen, everything that I've been able to take in, hear me out, people. Hear me out. Bills versus the Packers. Bills versus the Packers.
Okay.
Josh Allen and that defense that they're playing this year is ridiculous. They've already had, I believe, 2 shutouts and one where they only allowed the team to score 3 points. Along with the Packers being who they are and the way that defense is playing, even with all the injuries to key guys like Zadarius as well as Jair. Come on, man. Listen, I had to get it out there. You already know the homer pick. It is what it is. But if we're not going with my homer pick, I'm being honest. Packers, Bills.
Okay. All right. I'll let you have it. Rams versus
Tell them,
Ravens.
baby. Tell them.
Of course.
Ravens, Rams. I'll take it. Ravens for the window.
Chris said anybody but Dallas versus, honestly, the Ravens. Okay. Maybe you got something there. I don't know. Juan,
if it is Dallas got to go down. Easy.
Talk to me, Juan.
If we're all right, since we're doing homer picks now, okay, I'll make one. Giants versus the Jets. Ew. All right.
Oh man.
Oh.
Anyway, honestly, you stole my pick, Darren. It was gonna be Bills versus Packers, but I'm adept and quick on my feet, so I can just try to think one off the spot. And I remember before we started the season, I had a preseason pick for the Super Bowl picks this year. It was going to be Packers versus Chiefs. All right, and we still had that down. And you know what? I'm sticking with that narrative. I think that the Chiefs are going to make a rallying comeback coming to the season. Look, the schedule's not easy. Do not get it twisted. There is not a single team that they're facing right now that has a losing record. They are either 500 or above going forward. Even going against the Packers this week, albeit what Jordan Love in the lineup, nevertheless. Here's what I think. This defense is awful for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's near bottom of the rankings, all right? Bringing in Melvin Ingram to try to bring more of a pass rush to the defense might not solve all your problems, but at least it plugs one hole in the majority of them, all right? And honestly, the Chiefs need their bye week to come sooner rather than later. They need to reassess. They need to sit down, reassess, and start again. And knowing that you have literally the Michael Jordan of football, that is Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the bench, you need to try to figure out how to get this guy moving. All right, he's leading the league in interceptions. His guys are dropping balls, and there's no run game to speak of whatsoever. All right, so I'm talking down about it, but why am I hyping it up for them to go to the Super Bowl? Because championship teams know how to make it matter when it's crunch time. All right. And the Chiefs have proven themselves to be a championship caliber team over and over and over again. You don't go to 2 Super Bowls in the past 3 years with a superhuman at quarterback and not just and not just have a plan. All right. I trust Andy Reid and his process to come up with something to get Patrick Mahomes back on track and his offense going to average at least 30 to 32 points a game going forward. As for the Packers, Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Smith always say it best whenever they're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Goes, Mama, there goes that man. That's a bad man right there. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely a bad man. I mean, I don't like that he followed his fiance's advice about eating clay to try to fight COVID-19. Nevertheless, Nevertheless, the fact of the matter is Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best players in the NFL. He is still the guy in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL. He is the standard. Aaron Rodgers is the standard. And when he's on the field, magic happens. All right. It doesn't matter who he has, whether it's without Devontae Adams, without Aaron Jones, without I'm confusing so many people. I love it.
Alan Lazard. Lazard and Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Without any of those guys, Aaron Rodgers can still perform. All right. And he's just getting a defense after all these years in the NFL, being in the NFL. He's finally getting a championship caliber defense. All right. Albeit some of his players have been injured. Jair Alexander still out. One of the Smith brothers just coming back, I think in the next week. So nevertheless, it is still a solid defense. All right. So, Bills, they're great. I think they'll make it too. But I'm going to hitch my wagon on the Chiefs and the Packers.
And real quick, Jalen Smith is on the Packers now.
Actually, Jalen Smith
just got released, sir. He is no longer with the Packers. He had
one tackle in 2 games.
As quickly as he's going.
One tackle in 2 games, and they brought in Whitney Merciless.
Jalen Smith has been being played wrong his entire career. I've said it from the jump in Dallas. Stop putting that man in that position and allow him to do what he does best. He's fast and physical. He's a poor man's Micah Parsons. Allow him to just be fast and physical. Stop trying to make him a high IQ middle linebacker. It's not what he does. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be one of this. One of these two are going to happen. It's either going to be the Ravens versus the Cowboys or the Rams versus the Bills. That's it. There's no in between. That's it. Like, it's either going to be those teams, like, because it's going to be in those combinations. That's it. Not like a different combination of those. That's it. That's what's going to happen, y'all. I like the Packers, but they barely eked out against a Cardinals team who I've been saying from the beginning. Again, they're good, but their defense, little suspect. And now you lose J.J. Watt for the year. Oh, my.
Every single team that you've just called, though, has been, just as suspicious as the Packers, though, man. Ravens have been terribly inconsistent.
No. See, but the difference is the health, right? Dallas is going to get healthy. And when they get healthy, they're going to be better. The Ravens are going to get healthy. And when the Ravens get healthy, they're going to be better.
You'll never get me to admit that the Dallas Cowboys are good in terms of like being a Super Bowl contender. I will never.
Listen, the Bills, they're not injured right now. They're just playing really good football. And the Rams, same situation. They're not injured right now. They're just playing really good football. And then just added Von Miller. That's scary. So it's going to be that. That's what I'm just saying. All I'm saying, man, I'm just telling you, man, hey, listen, I understand it's your rival. I understand you don't want to see it, but them guys are smoking right now. They just won with their backup, and he looked really good. So all I'm saying is just watch out for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
First off, against a middling Vikings defense, let's not give too much credit where it's not due.
And he still won. And he did what he had to do in crunch time to get
Mike White beat the Bengals. It doesn't mean he's starting for the Jets going forward.
Hey, he is. Selah has said he is the starter until otherwise. Okay? All right, that's all I'm saying. So, all right, listen. It's time. We're knocking the injury riddler Packers going to Glendale and beating the undefeated Cardinals. No, not knocking them. Not at all. Not knocking them at all. What I'm saying is they barely beat them, and couple that with the fact that they got to get healthy too, right? And also we've seen the Packers be, at moments throughout the season, just like, for example, game one, obviously we're a far cry away from game one, but we've seen them just kind of falter sometimes, right? That's the only thing I'm saying. I do believe that the Packers have a puncher's chance. Like, they've got a strong chance to be in the Super Bowl. I just think the other teams are more complete. Dallas is a more complete team to me. I think they run the ball well. They can throw the ball. And they play better defense than the Packers do. I don't think – I mean, if you're going to deny the fact that the Cowboys run the ball better, I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to not deny the fact that the defense is better, I don't know what to tell you. They go par for par throwing the football. So, there's no doubt about that. You just look at the numbers. And then you look at the Rams. They're the best defense in football, so there's no doubt about that. Their running game is up to par with the Packers, probably maybe better. And obviously they can throw the ball with anybody. Cooper Kupp is a prime example of that. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to tell you, they're more complete teams than the Packers. That's why I chose them.
I will say that the Packers, in the last 5 years that Aaron Rodgers has played, when he wins, he can win both the close games and the blowouts.
Yep.
But when he loses, it's nothing but blowouts.
Yeah.
All right. When Aaron Rodgers loses, it's a massive loss.
Now, listen, I don't disagree with that. And like I said, I think Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. The issue is we keep talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about the Cowboys. I'm talking about the Rams. I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers on the Packers. That's the difference here. Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. And yes, he can carry a team, as we've seen him do year in and year out, as we've seen Patrick Mahomes do year in and year out. But that wears off after a certain time, especially in the playoffs. You need a complete team. And that's the reason I chose those guys. Speaking of choosing, it's time to choose our game picks. It's the Air It Out game picks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring up our records now because, man, oh, man, this was a week for the books. It was not good for any of us. We barely stayed alive in this race here, ladies and gentlemen. It was pretty bad. A lot of upsets. I mean, Mike White? What? We're talking about the Bengals who just beat the Ravens division game, beat up on them. And then Mike White walks up in there and brings the Jets back up on.
How the hell do you lose to a Madden-generated quarterback?
Hey, listen.
He's on my team.
Hey, no comments. Peyton Manning, he said your record's in jeopardy. You better watch out. All right, listen. Last week, Juan went 6-9. Woo! I went. Myself and Darren both went 8-7, just barely getting over 500. Goodness gracious. And Darius had the best record of the week, going 9-6. Golly, ladies and gentlemen.
We squeaked by.
We all squeaked by the skin of our teeth. It was not great. Experience matters. Also, Stafford and Dak combined had one playoff win, especially if the Packers maintain the number 1 seed. You are correct. I do not disagree there. You are correct. Again, you're talking about one guy. I'm talking about the teams. There's a difference. He's talking about Aaron Rodgers and his experience versus Dak's and Matthew Stafford's. That's the only reason he would bring up the two quarterbacks if he's not comparing the quarterbacks. Because if not, you're comparing the teams. And if we're comparing the teams, they are better all around. With that being said, our current records, Juan, you actually, when you text me, you did your calculations a little bit wrong with the overall records. Your week record was correct. But me and Juan are now tied because he dropped 2 games and I picked up 2 games on him. 77-46. Darren at 73-50. And Darius, he's creeping up on you, Darren. He's coming for you. Darius has now picked up a game on Darren. He's 72-51. The race is tightening, y'all. It's getting close. Listen, we only got a couple weeks left of the season. It's going to be a nail biter. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. So I'm going to start with you. Juan, let's get your game picks. Let's do it, man.
All right. Well, I'm saving tonight's matchup as my one to talk about.
Right.
For obvious reasons.
Copy.
So going forward, Cleveland versus Cincinnati. I'm taking the Bengals. Denver at Dallas. Dallas, obviously. Houston at Miami. Oh, that's brutal. It's like pick your poison. I'll take Miami in a close one. Oh no, actually, I'll take Houston because Tyrod Taylor is coming back. Atlanta at New Orleans. I am taking the Saints. Vegas at New York. I'll take Vegas. 1 second. Jacksonville at Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo. New England at Carolina. I will take New England. Minnesota at Baltimore. I will take Baltimore. Los Angeles at Philly. Los Angeles. Green Bay at Kansas City. Green Bay. Arizona at San Francisco. Arizona. Tennessee at Los Angeles. I'll take the Rams in that one. Bears at Pittsburgh. That's a good one. It's not a good one. It's a bad game overall, but it's bizarre. A hard one to pick. You know what? I'll trust defense in this situation, and I think Khalil Mack's coming back, so I will take the Bears.
All right. All right.
Now for the game of tonight, the Jets against the Colts.
Unzip the hoodie. We should make that a hashtag.
I did not believe in Mike White whatsoever going into this game. I completely thought this was going to be an obliteration of the Jets by Joe Burrow and that Bengals defense, but it wasn't. And Mike White became the first, the second player to start his NFL career with a 400 passing yard performance and a win.
NFL trivia. Who was the other one, Darren?
Cam Newton.
All right.
And he was the first Jets quarterback since Vinny Testaverde in '99 to throw for 400 yards in a game. Oh God.
Sorry, Juan.
And we can put into debate whether or not this means that Zach Wilson's position on his team as the starting quarterback is called into question. But it's one game. We've seen quarterbacks have good performances and then falter soon after. All right. This is in the follow-up performance for Mike White is on prime time on Thursday night. All right. So that's enough pressure under the lights as it is. With that being said, the Colts have been an up and down roller coaster kind of team. All right. Carson Wentz, how efficient he's been on paper has not been as efficient on the field. All right. He's thrown less picks, been more touchdowns, but his picks have been some of the ugliest picks you've ever seen. 2 off of a shuffle pass, one in the back of the end zone when he was getting sacked, and then returned for a pick 6. And then the last one to end the overtime bid against the Titans when he clearly had to check down to Jonathan Taylor open. The Colts defense has been middling as well. Darius Leonard can only plug so many holes. Not to mention the secondary has just been trash. And
secondary has been decimated with injuries.
That too, but step up. So I can't say that I can't trust either of these teams, but looking on upside and just talent available right now, I'm taking the New York Jets to beat the Indianapolis Colts tonight.
Oh, man. It's not even Hot Take Thursday yet, man. Oh, man. Okay, Juan, I like it. Not mad at it, Darren. Talk to me, man. You get your game picks and your one explanation.
All right, so I haven't really been able to go over them, but this is my game picks for the week.
Before you get into your game picks, how did you guys do, man? Talk to me.
Championship game this week, people.
Let's go!
Championship game Saturday. We win this week. We are our 4AA champions for this year.
Let's go.
My man.
Go get this
My
W.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
It
love
is
it,
what
love
it
it.
is.
All right, game picks, baby. Game picks.
So we got the Colts versus the Jets. I'm going with Colts on that one. Sorry, Juan. Vikings versus the Ravens. Unlike the haters in the background. Baltimore will not lose this one. Baltimore will not lose. It is what it is. If they lost, if the Vikings lost to the Cowgirls, there's no way we're losing, especially after a bye week. Bengals versus the Browns. I'm going with the Bengals. I just feel as though they're a better team overall right now with the way that they're playing. Yes, I do. Baker Mayfield's too banged up, and that offense is still other than the running backs, who are both just trying to come back now, especially Nick Chubb. Cowboys versus the Broncos. I'm going with the Cowboys on this one, unfortunately. Oh, man, I'm sorry. The Cowgirls on this one, unfortunately. Dolphins versus the Texans. This is going to be a matchup of sucky teams, but I'm going with the Fins on this one. Falcons versus the Saints. This one's a little bit more challenging, definitely with it being an NFC East rivalry game. They always play well against each other.
NFC South.
Ain't no Jameis Winston. I'm sorry. I'm going with the Falcons on this one. Matty Ice, Kyle Pitts, they might come in there and do their thing for this game. Raiders versus the Giants. I'm going with the Raiders. Raiders are still doing what they need to do. And I believe a lot of people, Brian Edwards, who's slowly been really showing up over the last few weeks. Panthers versus the Patriots. I'm sorry, Panthers is not playing as well. Bills versus the Jags, that's an easy one. That's the Bills. We already know. I'll say this next one for my explanation game. The Packers versus the Chiefs. I'm sorry. I'm going with the Chiefs on this one. I love the Packers, but I feel like Patrick Mahomes will finally start to get it together. He will start to string these games along. Mainly, gotta worry about the wide receivers. Cardinals versus the 49ers. I got the Cardinals winning this one. Rams versus the Titans. I got the Rams. Steelers versus the Bears. I got the Steelers. And my explanation game is the Bulls versus the Eagles. Real simple, people. Justin Herbert. He's been up and down this year against certain teams, and we know what he can do. I feel like, and I really do, even with the shellacking of the Lions, Justin Herbert comes out and balls. And I mean balls. Yes, calling it now. 21-point win for the Chargers.
Woo! Y'all starting hot take Thursday early.
Eagles, get ready for this. I'm sorry. I love y'all, but get ready for that.
All right, ladies and gents. All righty. Listen, I'm gonna get into mine here. Colts versus the Jets. There was no film on Mike White. That's why he was balling. There's film now. I'm going with the Colts. Colts over the Jets. Browns versus the Bengals. For all the reasons Darren pointed out, plus OBJ situation. Bengals over the Browns. Broncos versus the Cowboys. Broncos got a pretty good, tough win, but I'll take the Cowboys here because, like I said, they're just a better complete team. Cowboys. And Dakota might be back. Texans versus the Dolphins. I have no faith in the Texans right now. I do love Tyrod Taylor, though, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Falcons versus the Saints. Get well, Jameis Winston. This one is tough. The Falcons lost to the Saints last year without Drew Brees to Taysom Hill, who might start this game. But there's no Michael Thomas either. I'm going to take my boys this time. Let's go Falcons over the Saints. Raiders versus the Giants. Tough one. The Giants were hanging in there against the Chiefs. But I think with what Derek Carr is feeling about his former teammate, Henry Ruggs III, I'm going to go with the Raiders. Patriots versus Panthers. I will go and explain that one, so I'll save it for later. Bills versus the Jaguars. No explanation needed. Bills. Vikings versus the Ravens. Chargers versus the Eagles. I'll take the Chargers. I'll go to the Chargers here. Packers versus the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. Cardinals versus the 49ers. Ooh, division game. Cardinals just got beat. I'll take the Cardinals. Titans versus the Rams. Ugh. Get well, Derrick Henry. I'll take the Rams. Bears versus the Steelers. Justin Fields finally looks like he's showing up, but I'll take the Steelers. Hard-fought win against the Browns. Now, my explanation game. Is Kenneth Murray out for the season or returning? I don't know.
I mean,
He's
Kyle,
coming back.
Gotcha. All right. So my explanation game, which one was it? I can't remember. Hold up.
I just want to say,
Patriots.
know-
Panthers. Go ahead.
Detroit loses the bye week. Just gonna say that. All right, let's go.
Okay. All right. I understand. Packers, they have enough of a good defense and a run game with Jones to take out the Chiefs. Wow. Okay, Johnny. Listen, I don't deny it, but I mean, I'm not sure, man. The run game can be non-existent sometimes, and their defense is good. They're getting healthy again, but Jay Alexander's still out this week. And I'm just not sure, man. My issue is Jordan Love. That's my only issue. Honestly, if Aaron Rodgers plays in this game, I'm picking the Packers. But I think the Chiefs, because there's no Aaron Rodgers, I think they get a win there. So my explanation game, Patriots versus the Panthers. All right, this one is tough, man. This is actually a tough game for me to pick. The Patriots are looking on the upswing here, right? They're looking like they're starting to catch their stride. Matt Jones is starting to handle the pressures of the NFL. He's starting to catch his stride. He's not playing lights out football, but he's playing complimentary football to a defense that over the last 5 games has not been playing really bad. So with that being said, it's a really tough game. The running game is still but they're doing better. The Panthers, they're just on a downward spiral here. It's kind of sick to think that because there's no Christian McCaffrey, that they can't do anything. I mean, they barely eked out a win against the Falcons, which, again, I'm not sure what happened there. But they barely squeaked out a win against the Falcons. Sam Darnold does not look good. Their offense just doesn't look good. Their defense, it's okay at this point. They're 4-4, but they really could be, if we're being honest, they could be 3-5, maybe even 2-6. So I'm not sure. I'm going to pick the team that's trending upward. I'm going to take the Patriots in this game, ladies and gentlemen. And with that said, we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to make these quick so we can get to the RPO podcast. I said we're going to make this quick so we can get to the RPO podcast. It is time for Hot Take Thursday. I'm going to start with you, Juan. Give me your hot take and put some hottie sauce on it. You see what I did there? Shout out to Megan Stallion, hottie sauce at Popeyes and all that stuff. Put some hot sauce on it.
I mean, wasn't it enough that I picked the Jets to beat the Colts?
I mean, if that's your hot take, I'll take it because that's spicy. That is spicy enough. The Jets over the Colts. If that's your hot take, I'll take it. Darren, talk to me. What is your hot take?
No Danielle Hunter, right? And the Vikings have been pretty suspect. And after the fact that they gave up 325 passing yards to Cooper Rush in his first career start, hashtag 450.
450.
Oh!
450.
Wow.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
Not gonna.
Bateman gets his first 100-yard day.
Who?
Shaw Bateman goes off. Over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Okay, listen. Go for it. My hot take, and I'm going to leave it at this. Sorry, Juan. The Colts are pitching a shutout tonight. That's it. That's it.
So
Colts
even if we get 3 points, it's not a shutout.
That's true. But my hot take, they don't even get that. That's my hot take. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Air It Out Podcast. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate all of your comments, all of your likes, all of your shares. Don't forget to like, follow, and share all of our content. Listen, you can find all of it at www.insidethehashes.com. We've got the podcast, we've got the blog, we've got the interviews, we got the fantasy football game. Whatever you want, you name it. If it's around football, We got it. Listen, don't forget to listen on all of your streaming platforms. You can do that as well. And please like, follow, and share on all of our social media platforms. Instagram as Inside the Hashes, Facebook at Inside the Hashes, and on Twitter at Inside Hashes. Listen, it's been a great episode. It's time for the RPO podcast. It's coming on right after this. Do not forget to check it out with our very own CEO, Mr. Jerome Jones, right there in the chat, and my twin, Ray Roberts. It's about to go down. And then right after that, we got Thursday Night Football. For Juan and for Darren, I'm Avery. This is the Air It Out podcast. Over and out. Matt Ryan for president. Thanks, Pop and Mom. Love y'all. Oh, we got extra. We got overtime.
Oh
I mean, we got overtime.
It literally does that.